Hi guys, what's up? So this is Roman Saini, and I'll take up an Academy Plus course on Ultimate Crash Course on Science and Technology, in which we are going to discuss 36 hours worth of topics. Where I'll cover the basics of all the NCRTs from class 6 to 12th, whatever is needed for your UPSC Prelims 2018, and then we will cover the entire main syllabus as well. So in case you get selected in Prelims, you need to write mains as well, and this course will span for 1.5 months. So just remember that whatever I'm going to teach you in this course, it will be more than sufficient to crack both the prelims as well as your mains examination. Okay, so before we move forward, so yeah, let us get started. Okay, so in this particular course lesson, we'll start. This is the first lesson of the course, and I'll explain you. Like most of you do not know how to do this, but it is important to how to score more than 90% marks in the prelims and more than 50% marks in the mains. So let us get started, and this is a demo. So just see how it has to be done. Okay, so it is very critical, like you understand these things so that you can do it yourself. So how to score more than 90% and 50%. So whenever we talk about, so we'll start with basic syllabus. So we'll discuss basic syllabus, then we will discuss some previous year question papers. Okay, then short listing of the books. So most of the aspirants start with this. Then study approach. Then either they have their coaching notes or personal notes. Then they follow some revision strategy, and then they will practice and repeat it till it is over. So this is a typical approach of any aspirant. Okay, so this is an approach. So how do we refine this approach so that 90% means, let's say there are 20 questions in prelim, so at least you are able to solve 18 of them. So that is what I mean by the 90 question thing. Okay, so first thing first, what is actually asked in this exam? So you all know that static as well as the dynamic knowledge for the subject is needed to score very high marks in prelims as well as mains. What do you mean by this? What is the static knowledge? What is the dynamic knowledge? If there is a latest development, for example, if they find a new species of banana in Andaman and Nicobar, so that was not taught to me while I was in class 12th in 2008. That is a recent development. So that is a dynamic news. If ISRO launches some, like let's say Chandrayaan 2, so that was not taught to me 10 years ago because it did not exist. So that is a dynamic news. On the other hand, static is, let's say, what are the type of WBC? How much blood is present in a human being? How many bones are there in the human beings? Okay, what carries water in the plant, whether it is xylem or phloem? Okay, what is responsible for the mirage in the desert, or what is responsible for sparkling of diamond? So all these things, they are the static portion. They are general science. They are same for last 15 years, 20 years or 100 years. Okay, so just remember, static portion is asked in prelims mostly. Okay, so you will find approximately 10 questions coming from the static portion. Now it can include your it can include anything. Okay, physics, chemistry, bio, zoology, botany, some basics of universe, etc. And you will find that 5, 10, 8 to 10 questions are also asked in the from the dynamic portion, which is the newspaper. But in mains, now here is a critical part. In mains, you will realize that the GS paper 3, almost all the questions are in last 4 to 5 years. That's all. Okay, almost all the questions. Nobody is going to ask you any old question in that. So that is why it becomes very important that you focus not only just on the static portion, but you focus on the dynamic knowledge also. So it includes the current affairs, it includes technology, technological innovations, various issues in nanotechnology, IPR, space sciences. There are so many things which one need to understand for this. Okay, when we talk about the static knowledge, we have to discuss the basic concepts of physics. Okay, then basic concepts of biology, chemistry, some basic concepts of environment and ecology. So it can be an established theory, it can be a universal truth, it can be a fact. Basically it needs to form the conceptual background, and it is basically required so that whenever you're reading newspaper, you're reading Science Reporter, you're reading Indian Express, you're reading the Hindu, you're reading Yojana, if anything related to science come, okay, let's they talk about some new cure for tuberculosis. You need to know tuberculosis is a bacterial disease. You need to know it affects your lungs. You need to know basics about this. So that is the static knowledge. Without static knowledge, one cannot study the dynamic portion. Okay, so this is critical and you need to understand. Now, before you move forward, before you jump the gun, it it is very important that you understand the syllabus. Okay, syllabus is the most important thing. Unfortunately, in prelims they do not mention anything at all. They just mention general science. So it is pretty clear that they are going to ask question on 6th to 12th class NCERT, and this will be based on 4 subjects: physics, chemistry. Some call it biology, but technically there is nothing called as biology. There is zoology and botany. Okay, so these are the 4 subjects: PCB, BZ. So physics, chemistry, zoology, botany. Zoology deals with animals, botany deals with plants. And you also have to discuss learn the general issues on environment and ecology. Okay, E&E. Then you have to discuss issues on biodiversity, and then you have to discuss the issues on climate change. So once you discuss the general issues on climate change that do not require subject specialization, so you become really awesome. Again, you do not need to be a scholar, you do not need to be a PhD student, you do not need to be a professor to study environment and ecology, biodiversity, climate change. They are basic stuff. Every graduate can read them. It's very simple. Like, there is nothing specific about it. Now, in main syllabus, we will discuss it quickly. So, we will discuss the development, their application and effects in everyday life. Then we will see achievements of Indians in science and technology. This is very important, okay? Because this is directly asked in the exam hall. DRDO, ISRO, HAL, IISC, they have developed so many things, from Tejas to Rustam to Sagarika to Nag to Arjun. Okay, basically there are so many things. What can I tell you? So these are the major 4 organizations. Then IITs keep on developing things, AIMS keep on developing things. You need to understand all this. Then indigenization of technology, I called it IoT. Indigenization means whatever is produced, it can be produced inside your home. Home means India. Developing new technology. What are we doing in indigenization of technology? Okay, which are the Indians which you have done good? So all the Nobel laureates, you can quote it here. Then that is okay. But now comes the dynamic portion. This is pure dynamic portion. They are themselves calling awareness. Okay, they themselves are calling how much you are aware about surroundings, how much do you know. So IT, space, computers, robotics, nanotechnology, biotechnology, issues related to IPR. In my time, there was a direct question in 2013. It could make you an IAS officer. It can break your career if you don't know that. So issues relating to IPR, all these things become really important. Then environmental pollution and degradation. They can ask you a direct question on what is EIA, Environment Impact Assessment, Environmental Impact Assessment, EIA. So you need to know these stuff, otherwise you will not be able to do anything. Then the key, the important thing which we now will focus. By the way, this course will be in English. So even if you are in North India, South India, don't worry. I will not speak Hindi in this course so that each and every one of you can understand. So scoring more than 90% in prelims, how we are going to go about it. So I have analyzed the trends. So right from the year 2012 to the year 2017, like 2018 is yet to happen, right? You guys are going to give that exam. So there are some trends which I have observed in CSE prelims during the past few years. Okay, so what are these trends? So question from the technology are asked more than the actual stuff. What is the actual stuff? Actual stuff is physics, chemistry, zoology, botany. But it does not mean you ignore it. Let's say you ignore it for the first time and they ask you 10 questions in it, then you are gone, right? So questions from technology, especially the information technology, biotechnology, space technology, they have been asked more than the questions from the core subject knowledge. Okay, environment and ecology has been growing in consistently, and every year anywhere between 10 to 20 questions are asked from environment and ecology. Current affairs on science and technology have also gained significance, from monarch butterfly till orange banana. Everything is asked under the sun. Okay, everything UPSC asks under the sun. So these are the 3 interconnected pillars. If you follow these pillars, then you will be able to score very high marks. So first of all, syllabus. Okay, devise a preparation strategy so that your concepts are very clear. You read current affairs daily, not weekly, not monthly, not fortnightly. It has to be daily, and you give ample scope for revision. If you are not a science student, please be determined to learn science for getting high marks in prelims. This is the second portion. Even if you are a science student, you have to be very determined to learn science, so that the only objective is to become an IAS officer or whatever is your preference. So please remember that. And no matter how many times you read the syllabus, no matter how many concepts you have cleared, if you do not practice, and if you do not master the art of solving science and technology MCQ, then you are gone. Nothing can be done for that. So let us discuss the first pillar. So gaining the conceptual knowledge, preparing current affairs. So you need to devise a very proper preparation strategy for science and tech. I will help you in this particular course, so you can follow that. So for non-science background students, you need to build the base. It is very important. So first of all, start with the science NCERTs. You can start with 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th. Anyway, in this course we will cover them in detail so that you don't need to worry about it. Then we will cover the basic syllabus through this reading materials, like 6th to 10th are the basic building blocks. 12th biology is an important book because it includes biotechnology, genetics, and it also includes environment and ecology. It also includes reproduction science. So all these are important topics. Questions are indeed asked from them. So as I was saying, why reading the class 12 biology is important? So because biotech is appearing, environment and ecology is appearing, and most of the students who are not doctors, who are not bio students, they find it very difficult to understand it. So they talks about DNA structure, genetics, biotech, applications, and candidates, those who are from non-science or non-biological background. This is a very concise book and you can get a very sound conceptual knowledge about basics of biotech and its application. So that is why reading this book becomes very important. Now, internet is obviously a storehouse of information. Wikipedia is one of the best sources you will ever come across. So you can read NIOS material for environment and ecology. If you don't have anything, Shankar IS is also good. My environment and ecology course is also good. Then on general science, you can read NCERTs from 6th to 12th and 12th class biology. So that is your general science and NIOS material. Then let us talk about the newspapers and journals for dynamic portion. Okay. So during the past few years, questions on topics of contemporary relevance or current events, they have been asked, as I am like harping a lot that lot of questions are going to be asked in the current affairs. So you have to read newspapers. So like, but be focused on the syllabus, especially the main syllabus if you don't know anything. So technological innovation on those domain only. Okay. So obviously the Hindu is a very important source for preparing current affairs in science and technology. You can also go through the science reporter. Okay, so all these becomes very important. Then articles on environment and ecology, agriculture, you will find them a lot of time appearing in the newspaper, and they contain important concepts, keywords. And science reporter is also very important when it comes to technology, technological innovation, etc. So please remember this. Then you can go through PIB website, but in this particular course I will cover all the developments of PIB, so you don't need to worry about it. And you can, or various events related to science and tech, environment ministry, they keep on popping up on the PIB website. Now second pillar is determination. Whether you are a science student or a non-science student, everybody has fear of science, but you should not be afraid of the word science. As I have said, they do not require you to become a scholar, and they can be solved easily by reading basic material and practice tests. So this is the most important thing, and we will have like 2 full-fledged mock tests, and after every class I will also include 10 MCQs so that whether you have grasped the concepts or not, we will see there. Then common knowledge, newspaper articles, and taking practice tests. And then the third pillar is solving MCQs. So before you move forward, this is very important for science at least, to solve as many MCQs as you can. And PEK always helps, a pre-existing knowledge base. Okay, so PKP, pre-existing knowledge base, and it helps in solving MCQs. Questions are not difficult, options are very convoluted, so you have to eliminate them very carefully, otherwise you will get eliminated. So examples of MCQs, let us see some MCQs which are asked. So which of the following is a chemical change? Crystallization of anything cannot be a chemical change, okay, just a physical change. Melting of ice obviously is not a chemical change, it is very easily reversible. Again you cool down, it will become ice. Souring of milk is a chemical change, because now this is given in NCERT class 6 physical and chemical changes, and I will be covering such questions. So let us move forward. Which of the following are the some important pollutants released by steel industry? This was in news so many times, okay, during that time. So you know, oxides of sulfur, nitrogen, so these are released, but see, the answer is not important. What is important is that you understand, let's say environment, pollution and pollutants, so they were in news, lot of newspaper articles were there. So here you need to match them correctly. Sorry for this. So Cassini-Huygens messenger is for Mercury, that is correct. Cassini-Huygens is not for Venus, it is for Saturn. Voyager 1 and 2 are exploring the outer solar system, so answer is 2 and 3. So as you know, a lot of space probes are asked in the exam by ISRO, NASA, Chandrayaan, Mangalyaan, Terayan, Mirayan, all these are asked a lot of time. So they were in news all the time, so you have to remember them. Which of the following countries the outbreak of Ebola virus occurred recently? I know Ebola is related to Africa. So it cannot be Philippines, Papua New Guinea, it is Southeast Asian countries, Syria and Jordan are Middle East Asian countries, Jamaica, Haiti and Suriname are in Caribbean islands, Suriname is in South America, but Guinea, Sierra Leone and Liberia, they are African countries. So again, like this was in news a lot of time. GEAC is related to Environment Protection Act 1986. So this is the news article in which it was asked. So it is also mentioned in NCERT 12th biology, and it was in news at that time. So you can click on this article and you will find it exact article. The term end arc sometimes seen in the news. So this was asked in the prelims, and again as you can see this is the article. If you click on it you will find this. Okay, so India's underwater observatory to scientifically study the Arctic region. So that is related to end arc. Now Goldilocks zone, I will cover everything, you don't have to worry. So again this was asked. So it is basically related to habitable planets like Earth-like planets. So search for Earth-like planets there. This was the article. So as you can see, all the questions are coming from the Hindu. Okay, all the questions. If anybody can teach you all the current affairs in one go, then you will crack this exam. Again, you can see Project Loon. This is the Hindu's article in December 2015. This was asked in Prelims 2016. So Project Loon is Google's project of wireless communication technology. This is Company X of Alphabet, which is parent company of Google. Again, this is an Indian Express article, so I will combine all these current affairs together so that you know. So it is on International Thermonuclear Experimental Reactor ITER. So India became part of it in 2006, but the news appeared in 2016 because of Brexit. What is the purpose of ELISA project? This was asked in the Hindu. Basically, gravitational waves were explained in 2016. This was the article, so that is why the question came in 2017 prelims to detect the gravitational waves. See, I can go on and on, but that is not the point of this. But let us summarize the tips of scoring high marks in prelims. So, if you already know the answer, it's best for extremely factual questions. For example, if you know Mission Indradhanush is related to vaccination or immunization, whatever you want to call it, of children and pregnant women, so answer is pretty clear. So these are straightforward questions. You don't need me for this. But let's see this elimination method. So if you want to see ghadials in their natural habitat, which one of the following is best place to visit? See, if you have basic knowledge, you know ghadials are in freshwater system. So they will not be found in mangroves. Okay. So mangroves are usually salty water. So A is eliminated. Pulicat Lake is also brackish. Okay. So they will not be found there also. And ghadial, obviously, if you know the direct answer, it's Chambal. But A and C can be eliminated easily. So answer will be B or D. So even if you take a 50% guess, that is good. So educated guess from your pre-existing knowledge. So viruses can infect plants, fungus, bacteria. So you might have heard about bacteriophage. So these are the viruses which affect bacteria. So if you read NCERT, if you come across a word bacteriophage, ask yourself what it is. So one has to be there. And if a small organism like bacteria is getting affected, so virus can infect literally anybody, right? So it can infect bacteria, it can infect fungus, plants. So answer becomes D, 1, 2, 3. So this is the fourth tip, that avoid the extremes at all point of the time. Like sometimes in questions you will find statements that contains the words like never, only. So those statements usually are incorrect. Okay, but usually I'm talking about, this is not a golden principle. Okay, sun always rise in the west, east and set in the west, so that is correct. But usually I'm talking about usually. Some moderation is there, like using word like may not, possible, could. They have a very high chance of being true as compared to like absolute. So I'll also give you some tips on scoring more than 50% in the mains. So like they ask the questions from contemporary issues and current affairs in the last few years. So let us see some questions. Okay, in 2014 they are asking about overuse and availability of antibiotics. So it is pretty clear that the antibiotic resistance is on the rise and there is a huge prescription problem. So can overuse and availability of antibiotics without doctor's resistance contribute to emergence? Yes, 100% yes. So you have to critically discuss. So we will discuss all these things in our course. Then scientific research in Indian university is declining because a career in science is not as attractive. So here you will need to talk about Inspire scheme. Here you will not need to talk about KVPY. Here you will need to talk about various scheme. Okay. So which government is trying to attract the talent towards the science. And yes, this is the reality. In a globalized world, IPR assumes significance and a source of litigation. Distinguish between copyrights, patents and trade secrets. So this is also very important. So we will cover all these things. In 2015 again, like similar question was asked on TKDL. So discuss the pros and cons of making it public. Okay, pros is that it will foster research. Cons is that some people can steal your data and patent it in USA. Namami Ganga National Mission for Clean Ganga programs causes mixed results from the previous schemes. So what can we do in quantum leaps that can help the river Ganga rather than having some small changes? Again, this is a very important question. Again, like this is the most open-ended question you will ever find. Discuss India's achievement in the field of space science and technology. We are launching hundreds of satellites in one go. We are launching Mangalyaan, Mars orbiter mission. We are launching Chandrayaan 1, Chandrayaan 2, etc. All these are this. But it also helps in socio-economic development. For example, telecommunication, telemedicine, tele-education, disaster management, prevention, etc. So all these are helping in the socio-economic development. Why is nanotechnology one of the key technologies of the 21st century? Describe the salient features of India's government mission. So here you need to understand what all nanotechnology can impact. There you also need to understand the science and technology policy of the government of India. Give an account of the current status and the targets to be achieved pertaining to renewable energy sources in the country. So again you need to talk about 2022. We want to do certain gigawatts of energy coming from the renewable sources. Discuss and brief the importance of national program on LEDs. See bulbs, traditional bulbs, they take a lot of lights and they are not efficient. They get fused. If you buy an LED light, it can work for 2-3 years also, and it is very energy efficient. Then after you have analyzed the questions, you need to develop the answer writing skills also. So UPSC itself is saying that the length of the answer does not matter. Keep it short, crisp. If it is asking 150 words, write 149. But the content is the king. Okay, it is net without knowing the contemporary issues, without knowing the important indigenous technologies, contribution of Indians in science, achievements of Indian organizations, various issues related to public health, medical technology. You cannot do anything in UPSC. It's as simple as that. You need to know your content. Then reading newspapers, science reporter, general chairman, science reporter, Yojana, etc. That is necessary, okay? Because they publishes articles about science and tech, environment, agriculture, innovation, contemporary issues, and all the important concepts, keywords. You need to take care of it. Then you need to have more information. It can be recollected by searching more about the concept or keyword. Then developing the answer writing skills. You need to have very short introduction. Then main body, it should have like supporting facts, relevant information. See, all of this will be discussed how to write an ideal answer. Don't worry. Then I will also show you how to use relevant examples or comparisons. And then finally the logical conclusion. Then use subheadings to organize your answer. Write in bullet points. Okay, approach the answer in a holistic manner, and as much as possible use of flow charts, diagrams should be there. Okay, so it makes it much more interesting. I'll show you a lot of examples. Don't worry. Take as many tests for mains so that you can write beautiful answers. And so this was about it. So if you want to enroll in the course, so the link is given in the description below. So thank